Hey, how you guys doing? I'm X, and I'm on the Ender server, and yeah, you guys may notice that the doors are missing from the Iron Foundry. So that is actually what this LP is going to be. But I thought, now, originally I wanted to show, one section of the doors being completed and then another, but it would take probably 12 hours, and I just don't have that kind of time. As it is, it's probably going to take me 6 to 8 hours anyway. So I figured I would do a Q&A, which a lot of people have been asking me, what goes on behind the scenes, what my computer specifications are, how come I don't run shaders while I'm on the server, and so on. So let me go ahead and just get over here real quick. So I don't know what actually broke the Iron Foundry. Me and Burned Out Guy were actually upgrading the Blaze farm, and when I came back it was messed up. So there's two people on the server that play besides me, but one doesn't play very frequently, and then of course Burned Out Guy's on 3-4 times a week or so, something like that. But anyway, I just upgraded to the 1.7.10, and yeah, so 1.7.10, and I did this after, but I do believe I know what happened, and basically what happened was the server that I was using originally, the node was oversold from what they told me, and then they switched me, right? But when they did, they switched me and kept all my files the same, but switched it to a bucket. But for some reason the bucket was corrupted. Now I'm only playing vanilla, so I think, anyway, I basically cleaned out all the files that are unnecessary because I'm only playing vanilla. Cleaned out all those files, and I think I have it fixed, so it should be ready to fix the Iron Foundry to get it working again. So for the Q&A, my computer specifications, it would take a really long time to go through that. But I did want to let you guys know some exciting news, which is I just got a water cooler, which means my computer was running at 3.5 gigahertz, which is pretty high. I mean, it's plenty for Minecraft. But right now I'm running at 3.8 gigahertz just because I have the water cooler. So all I did was just turn it from cool and quiet mode to hot and noisy. But with a water cooler, it's not really noisy at all. It's actually running cooler now than it was. I could overclock it, probably to 4.1, but the motherboard I have, I really don't think it could handle it. And the motherboard that I got was just a basic platform to build off of. In the future, though, I'm gonna upgrade to a just a lot higher quality motherboard, and a much higher processor. Matter of fact, the processor I'm getting is going to run at 4.7 gigahertz, and with the motherboard I should be able to overclock it to 5.1 or 5.0, which would be crazy. I'm also going to be running dual graphics cards, so that is one of the biggest questions, is why don't I run shaders on the server? For instance, they just released like a month ago um, a shader mod that's for the 1.7.5. Now you can get shader mods that are actually higher than that, but they don't support Optifine, which really helps with shaders. It also helps with these extra cloud animations that you see over here. Like if you look at that, you wouldn't normally see those without Optifine. You also wouldn't see my cape from Optifine. But anyway, it's not necessary. You can play stock Minecraft, but for me, this is what I like. I like to have the ability to zoom in and see things farther away. Yeah, so 770 GTX or EVGA GTX 770 superclocked is what I have for a graphics card. And I'm going to be running duals, so it's the only reason I went with that. I was originally just going to get a Titan, 780 Titan, but it's quite expensive. The one I got is about 300, so altogether I'm going to spend 600, and it's going to be a dual, so it'll technically have 4 gigabytes of memory, and if you were to add the clocks together, it would be running at something like, the core would be running at like maybe, I think, was it 2200 or something, which is crazy, but it's not necessary for Minecraft, but it is necessary for things that I want to do in the future. So yeah, that's going to be something I'll be doing in the future, is upgrading that. The other thing too is you guys may notice that my sound quality kind of depends upon what's going on around the house, because I don't really have my own space. I have to watch my son when I'm recording, and sometimes he's playing in the background, so you guys can hear that. So I just ordered a Kraken Pro Neon series, and it should be here today hopefully, and that should fix up the quality hopefully. I hope it doesn't make my voice too quiet, but it does cut out a lot of background noise. Now eventually in the future I want to upgrade to a studio mic, but for me right now, concentrating on getting my PC the way I want it is what I'm actually doing. Which the reason I don't use shaders is because I like to play on the most current, as current as possible. Now I could be playing on a snapshot, but if I would have been playing on a snapshot and upgraded it, I would have lost this world because it would have been corrupted. Now of course I could have used a backup, but I probably would have lost a month's progress. So yeah, anyway, when the 1.8 comes out, I can basically MC edit most of this stuff on to a world, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing, so that I can have a completely upgraded world with the new blocks and new everything. Yeah, when the 1.8 comes out for sure. Which means I'm going to have to switch this out with the Iron Titan anyway, so that's something I'm planning on doing in the future as well, when the 1.8 comes out. I also wanted to touch on next gen consoles, which is when that comes out, I'm going to be, testing and showing my elevators whether they work or don't work, and whether they work better, are they improved. Maybe even do some more tutorials on next gen, but I really am trying to stay away from 360, just out of the fact that I've had so many complaints about Redstone when it's not really my problem. It's the fact that it's the way the game's set up, yeah, I'm not going to go into anything more than that, but I mean, I'm going to keep everything up to date as much as I can, all my Redstone stuff, which, just to mention it to you guys, I have like 68 tutorials that are pretty complex, tutorials. Most of them have 1,500, but some of them have 350,000 views, which is pretty crazy. So, anyway, one more thing I was going to touch on was that the graphics card. A couple guys were like, how come you only get 60 FPS? Let me actually show you. So I'm running at 60 FPS, but I'm choosing to run at that. I'm using VSync. VSync syncs your FPS to your monitor's refresh rate, which is completely different than frames per second. Hertz and frames per second are different. Yeah, so this can receive 60 hertz of information, which is it's good for 60 to 80. Anything beyond that can cause visual tearing. It can also cause weird things, especially if you're recording. So I wanted to show you guys that it's not, yeah, the 770 super clocked. As you can see here, it'll run up to 330, and that's on a survival world, which I'll tell you, my old computer, which I still use, I'm actually recording with that right now. On a survival world, the max that it gets is about 80, and that's unlimited. So I would say, yeah, this is good. It's a lot faster. Everything looks cool, but it's completely unnecessary load on your. You don't need to have it like that. Yeah, you do not need to have your FPS that high for Minecraft unless you're like messing around with like big redstone contraptions. But yeah, anyway, coming up on, what is that? About almost 10 minutes of me talking. I hope that answers your guys' questions. As far as what goes on in the background or what goes on behind the scenes, it's usually me and Burned Out Guy planning out a next project, or I'm just planning out my next project. For instance, I had some other things I wanted to work on, but I'm going to work on this because it is nice to know that I'm continually getting iron every second that I sit there. So yeah, the doors definitely merged together. I do not believe that it had anything to do with griefing or anything like that. I think it actually had to do more with the corrupted bucket. That's what it actually had to do with. But it basically stopped here, which means I just checked it on Friday and we converted all of this into blocks, which you'll see here that I have a lot of chests of iron. I mean, we're talking all the way over here. It's almost filled all the way, which, I mean, to be honest, I could just leave this to the 1.8 and we shouldn't run out of iron, but if I can avoid having to do the Titan right away, that would be cool. But like I said, when the 1.8 comes out, I don't want to lose my progress, so what I'm probably going to end up doing is going and marking this, taking the same world, updating it to the 1.8 and generating it as a fresh map, and then using MC Edit and basically pasting off on the first layer of everything around here. For instance, the iron foundry, that way the material's still there, this little shack, my house, burned out guys stuff, just copying one layer and then everything underneath will be to the update. I checked this map out and this ravine here was actually filled with all kinds of dorite and all that, so it's not going to upgrade in the future, but I will check it first. I mean, I'm going to look, but I've actually rendered quite a bit of this map. So yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to do in the future. I think some people might consider that cheating, but it does beat restarting all over again. It is one of the reasons I do not like playing on the 360 is that you either are stuck with your original world, or even if they make it 4 times bigger, you're going to hit a point where it ends. On this one, as far as I know, they say it's infinite, but it's actually a little bit bigger than the surface of the Earth. I don't know what happens when you get to the end. If it's just like a void area or like a wall. But maybe maybe Exumavoid might do a video on myth busting. Is Minecraft actually infinite? I'm sure you could just teleport to the edge of the world to see what the actual, I mean, do you just come out on the other side or what? If I ran this way, would I end up coming back over here or what? But anyway, yeah, 13 minutes. So it's only going to be like 3 seconds for you, but it'll be 6 hours for me. So I'll see you when I get all the doors in and it's functioning and running again. So I'll see you guys in a second. Alrighty, so I got that all wrapped up. It's definitely working. Quite a pain. Took a real long time, a little bit longer than I actually thought. So since I got it up, I just started filling this chest up, but it does seem to work pretty decent. So I added on a little safety feature onto it, which is it's got extra roses to dump in here if it needs to. So it's just going to auto load them and keep this full. So if this ever runs out, like right now it's actually low, if this doesn't work, I have a whole chest just in case something happens. It's going to dump in the roses. So it should keep it at 41 or so. Sorry, poppies. It should keep 41 in there. And then any more than that's going to get ejected in there. But I'm getting like 5 right now, which is decent. That means I did it correctly. I'm not getting like 3 at a time. I'm actually getting about 5. And then a lull moment. So yeah, should start producing again. So I should have, see, 1, 2, 3.5 days before I gotta come and check it again. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this Let's Play. Um, yeah, there's not too much more to show other than the next Let's Play. I'm going to go ahead and start building the building here. I haven't really touched this since I did the video last. Yeah. Made some minor modifications to the cow farm to let XP travel underneath, which was actually not happening for me, so having them up like this seems to work fine and it matches. So yeah, next thing to do is to move this over there and then move the chicken farms on top, so I can actually get up here and feed them. Get a lot of beef out of this. Yeah, that's quite a bit right there. Yeah, definitely 60 on the leather and tons of food. Pretty sweet. Go ahead and feed them and then end this episode. Had the sheep farm running for quite some time. Trying to feed him cow. Oops, forgot I moved the ladder. Yeah, so putting these glass blocks here, although shows the cows glitching, they don't actually get stuck in the glass anymore. They're not getting glitched, which is pretty cool. I mean, you'll see this cow is actually being glitched into the half slab a little bit, but when he gets full grown, he won't actually be in the block, which is cool. So yeah, you can also just move them around. But yeah, that is all the time I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment, like, and subscribe, and have a good one. Later.